Well, this is a little 38 Derringer, and I'm going to tell you, it's not it's not a really great weapon as far as any of these concealed carries go. But I chose a 38 because it's a common caliber, and it's a center fire, and you can opt for like a 32 Smith & Wesson or something else. I mean, you could do a 22 long rifle, which isn't bad, but that's a rim fire. Probably that's one of your better bets, though, because this thing has got way too much kick. Way too much kick for a Derringer. You actually cannot use regular 38 ammo. I'm not even talking about plus P. I'm talking about the lightest load. I loaded up 38 ammo, not plus P specs, but like on a light side of 38 Special. And well, even when I took Remington white box or some target ammo, some light stuff, this thing, the first time I shot it, it actually, he's gonna laugh at, well, I was totally aware that this thing can practically fly up a lot. I says, let me hold on to it really tight, and I'm holding it on as tight as I can, just using the lowest grade 38 Special ammo. It flew out of my hand and hit me in the head. I was like, this is a pistol you don't want to shoot, But there's a way to freaking get around that if you reload. And obviously I must have shot like, 10 feet high easy, right, when it did that. So I experimented with reloading them 38 Special on the lightest load. Then I brought down to the specs of like 38 Smith & Wesson on the lightest load. I think I used 2.5 grains of Winchester 231, and then it was okay. It was manageable. It was fine. It was okay. And something like this, I'll tell you the truth, man. I checked this weapon, man. This thing it's all right. I mean, it's all right, but the safety on it doesn't work right. You can actually feel the firing pin sometimes actuate when the safety is on. But the safety on, and there's no trigger guard on it, but the safety on this is actually, the real safety is you got to pull this hammer back. Ugh. Which is, that's a pretty good safety in itself, But as far as the safety, this thing, all safe, pretty much every safety, if you got a button on the right side, you press it in. That's pretty much how they all work. Sometimes they're right by the trigger guard. But I don't use it because it doesn't seem to work right. That's what happens when you buy cheap shit, But it's not bad, though, because it's built strong. I don't like this. The safety doesn't seem to work that great, though. I'm aware of that, though. And that's why you should be careful with any weapon, because there are any of the cheap weapons. I got this for the hell of it one time. But it was kind of fun to shoot, because after I got... it's not supposed to be a target thing, but I was kind of messing around, seeing if I could shoot it pretty accurately for 25 yards. That was a while ago. Years ago, actually. But, I had to load it down, and I used Winchester, like I said, I used Winchester 231 for pretty much every pistol ammo except the Magnums. It covers, it's good, it's a good powder, It's like, keep things simple, you don't have to keep 20 different million kinds of powder around. And I don't like messing around with a lot of different calibers. So 38, 38, 357, I got a 357 rifle, lever action. And so I opted for the 38 in this. The way it opens up is you got this lever down here. You press this, flip it around, and the bottom opens up. It's kind of weird. It's like, they have the old Ivor Johnson top break revolvers. I don't know if you've ever seen those things. Well, it's a bottom break Derringer, and it really won't fire, I don't think, if you don't have this. Well, make sure you got that locked to the back like it should be. But it is a pretty strong weapon, but you really can't put any strong ammunition in it because it'll fly out of your hand, unless you made some kind of freaking long handle for it. God, it's freaking stupid, man, where they made this thing. But it is not bad. It's not too bad. Even though the safety on it, I think, is garbage. It is a safe weapon. Even though, like I say, the safety doesn't work right, in my opinion. I don't trust it, to tell you the truth. I could feel that firing pin go even when the safety's on. It's not blocking something. It's supposed to block something. But, and it's got no trigger guard because Derringer. But the thing is, you got to pull it back to fire it. And you got 2 shots. Like when it's actually around in there, it'll go boom, and then it'll go boom again, right? But when there's nothing in there, it doesn't do that. And the trigger pull on it is pretty hard. And it's not like it takes up some slack and it gets like, it just goes, it's like, I don't know how I describe it. It's not like a trigger pull. It's like, it's pretty hard to pull that trigger. But the way to really operate this, though, is you got to pull it back like that. And then that'll work it. And this trigger pull is not, but there's no slack to it. It's like you press hard. Pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing. There we go. It's definitely more than 10 pounds, I can tell you that right now. But it works. And actually, if you're going to use something like this for, wouldn't recommend it, for self-defense, I would not put no hollow points in it. I would load it up with some really light weight, like in other words, not too much, keep the load, the powder charge really light. But you can use something like this, the 158 grain wad cutters, or semi-wad cutters. Yeah, semi-wad cutter, that'd be pretty cool. You're okay with that. Hollow points are, you're not going to do anything. They wouldn't expand going really like low velocity. And you can look at this. This is supposed to be, I don't know, 600, under 600, well, 590 something, 593 feet per second. Say 600 feet per second. But still, I mean, crying out loud. I mean, it's a hell of a lot more than a freaking 22 rimfire by far, So, it's not too bad. Just forgot to post this. I don't really like this weapon, though. It's like, because I do more target shooting than anything, And, but in a way, it's kind of cool. But it's hard to aim. It's definitely hard to aim. It's not intended to be for that, but that's, And, but it is reliable as all hell because it's simple. There's nothing to it. You only got 2 shots, but it's 2 shots, boom, then boom. And, that's probably good to have as an extra backup, I would say. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be bad to have something like that as an extra backup because I don't see how this weapon could possibly fail. It's like, I would leave the safety doesn't seem to work right. I don't trust it. I'd leave the safety off, but that's not saying the weapon isn't like a safe weapon because it is hard to pull back this hammer. And I know there's no trigger guard on here, but just pull on this trigger after you pull the hammer back, going like this. It's a hard pull. It's the hardest pull I've ever seen on any weapon. And I guess it's deliberately like that because there's no trigger guard. But it works. I think it's extremely reliable. And there's nothing even catch. Like even a revolver has something that's turning something. There's nothing to really catch. It's just that hammer. And as long as that hammer hits that firing pin, it's going to work. So it's not bad for some applications. Just figured I'd tell people about it, but if you do ever get one of these, do get into reloading and reload some very light charges on it, with the powder, and bring it down to the light side of not the 38 Special, but the light side of the 38 Smith & Wesson. Then you can shoot it. It's like then you can hold it in your hand and shoot it. It'll work. But and then some people say, "Hey, it's so puny." It's not puny, man. Nothing. No gun is puny, man. I'll tell you that right now. And it's in a whole world. It's a whole league of itself over a 22 caliber or even a 22 Magnum. So everything's got its advantages and disadvantages. That's exactly what it is. I just wanted to point out the real quirk to this is 2 things. Don't trust the safety on this damn thing. So you might as well just leave it off. The safety is going to basically be your hammer. This very, very tough, this hard pull, hammer pull. That'll be your safety. And actually, the trigger is a very hard pull too. That's a pretty safe weapon though when you start thinking of it that way. And you want to do special loads. You want to load it on the light side of the 38 Smith & Wesson, not even the light side of the 38 Special. Then you can control the weapon, and it's still powerful. You know, I mean, God, and these people talk like, it's so light and puny. Okay, sure. It's ludicrous to make the way these people talk, you know? It's ludicrous. But anyway, it's still, I'd say it's good as a backup to your backup. That's what it's good for.